Please yield 5 minutes to one of the leaders of the Tax Policy Subcommittee, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Kelly.
Recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank Chairman Brady and all the members of the Ways and Means staff. You have worked tirelessly in order to bring this bill forward. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today. And my friend Mr. Larson, I notice he wears a pin with the picture of John Kennedy, one of my favorite presidents of all time. Let me just read from a speech that President Kennedy gave December the 14th, 1962. This is 55 years ago, and he gave it in an address to the Economic Club of New York. Our true choice is not between tax reduction on the one hand and the avoidance of larger federal deficit on the other. It is increasingly clear that no matter what party is in power, so long as our national security needs keep rising, an economy hampered by restrictive tax rates will never produce enough revenues to balance our budget, just as it will never produce enough jobs or enough profits. Only full employment can balance the budget, and tax reduction can pave the way to that employment. The purpose of cutting taxes now is not to incur a budget deficit, but to achieve the more prosperous, expanding economy, which can bring a budget surplus. Keeping that in mind, and I hear the debate going back and forth, and I would just encourage all of our members, you are going to have a choice today to take your voting card, and you're going to put it in the voting machine, and you can push a green button that says go, putting this nation back on track, making America the greatest economic power in the world. Or you can push a red button and say, you know what, just not something I can vote for today because it's just not exactly what I want. Next week, 50 million Americans will travel because they want to come home. They want to come home for the holidays. They want to come home for Thanksgiving. This bill is a Thanksgiving bill. This is a jobs bill, because what we're telling corporate America is we want you to come home. We want to make this a more favorable environment for you to live, to work, to succeed, because we know the true success in business is only a sustainable business model. So when you tax people with the highest rate in the industrialized world, when you regulate people that puts them in an uncompetitive advantage on the shelf, they can't exist. And so where do they go? They have to leave home to go overseas to find that answer. Now, I just want to go over some things that really are important. A friend of mine by the name of George Abraham is a basketball coach, and George and I were talking one day, and we were talking about the value of winning. And George said to me, you know what, Mike? The only position you want to be in is the number one position. And I said, really? He goes, yes. Because anything other than finishing first is you finish with the rest. If you were to take a survey, and Forbes did, and they said if you were starting a business today, where would you start that business? And right away I would say, are you kidding me? It's the United States of America because of who we are, our greatness. And no, there's 22 other countries that people say, I would rather go someplace else than do it right here in America. That is incredible. And when we talk about where we are as a people, listen to these figures. These are not my figures, by the way. This is a tax foundation. Cuts for Americans at every economic level. Reduces taxes by almost $1,200 for every average-sized, middle-income American family. Reduces taxes by almost $2,000 for every average-sized, middle-income family in Pennsylvania's 3rd District. Grows national GDP by 3.5%. Increases American wages by 2.7%. Increases after-tax incomes for every taxpayer by 3.8% in the long run. Increases after-tax incomes for medium families in Pennsylvania by over $2,300. And it creates almost 900,000 new American jobs. And it will create, in my state of Pennsylvania, over 36,000 new jobs. So I say this is a jobs bill. This is a revenue raiser for us. This is about bringing people back home. This is about more take-home pay for every hard-working American guy and gal who's out there that gets up every day and gets up to do one thing, and that is to protect their families and work in the best interest of their country. I'm just asking you today to look at this card and know that you have, within the power of your vote, to unleash the greatest economy in the world, to unshackle it from a tax code that makes it impossible to compete globally, that overregulates it and forces it offshore and then blames them for leaving. This is a come on back home. This is don't leave home, stay here. We're on your side. We're going to work with you and we're going to get there. And so I asked my friends on both sides of the aisle, let's do what's right for America. If it's right for America, it's right for Republicans, it's right for Democrats, it's right for independents, it's right for libertarians, it's right for America. This is the right time to do the right thing. My friends, we cannot stay where we are. A stand-pat hand is a non-winning hand. The ability to move forward, the ability to absolutely not just participate in a global economy, but dominate a global economy and give every single American the faith in the future and restore the faith that they need to have in this body, that we are doing the best thing in their interest every single day that we come here. And thank you, Chairman, and I yield back.